As a host and a guest on FM News Talk 97.1, Mr. Tim Jones.
Good morning, all my deplorables. Yes, I had to flip a coin today. I wore this shirt because of the Harley Davidson comments this week, and but I have another shirt that a very good friend of mine out in my hometown of Eureka gave to me, and she I don't know where she found it, but it's just a very simple. It's a black shirt, very simple. It says, "We're gonna need a bigger basket of deplorables." Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about, as Mark referenced, let's talk a little bit now about some things we have to do for the future. I'm one of the political commentators you hear on all the 97.1 products and on the Allman Report with Jamie Allman. Jamie sends his regrets. He could not be here today. He had something with one of his daughters, so I understand how important that is. And now that I'm out of the legislature, I do get to see my family a little more often as well. So let's talk about what we got coming ahead. And I want to thank you all, first of all, because you all did something that a lot of us who have served in the legislature asked you to do. You supported our ticket. You came together last November, and you united, and you voted in and protected the House, the Senate, gave us a Republican governor for the first time in Missouri in 8 years. And you see the results of that, right? Because think about, like Mark referenced, think about the alternative. Think about the alternative. If we hadn't done that, Chris Koster would have been our governor right now. Everything still would have been stopped. There still would have been no right to work, no tort reform, no tax reform, no spending reform, none of the things that are happening right now in Jefferson City. And I know we got Senator Andrew Koenig here, and probably some other folks are going to tell you about that, but none of that would have happened. Think about if we had not united and sent Roy Blunt back to the U.S. Senate, we might not have had the U.S. Senate. It is a razor-thin majority. However, and I can tell you this because I watch what happens in the whole country. Next year we have an extremely precious opportunity. The Democrats, despite their yelling and screaming and tough guy attitude that they're showing, you see on the cable, the Clinton News Network and all the others, they're on their heels next year. They're on their heels. They've got a dozen seats in Trump land that are up for grabs. And we can win every single one of them and give the U.S. Senate a veto-proof supermajority. I think the Gorsuch fight, it's going to be a fight, but we're going to win that one, okay? If you look at the cards, it's going to be tough. We can't give up on it. You see the campaign right here in Missouri targeting our very own wonderful Claire Bear, who we're going to send packing to retirement next year as well. But the real fight's going to be after Judge Gorsuch, who is an incredibly esteemed jurist, more than qualified. They couldn't have found a better person out of the gate to set this up, because the next one's going to be the next one. So my point here is there's battles to come. There's victories to fight. We can't rest on our laurels and go, oh, we dodged a bullet on that one, all's good. That's why you're out here today. That's why we are grassroots and the other side is AstroTurf. We are the people. Who watched the speech this week, the joint address? Who watched the joint address? It was, I'll tell you, just when you think you got Trump figured out, the media does. He surprises in a good way. Remarkable. I was so happy to see him shift and pivot once again and show us another remarkable side of him, the presidential side, the uniting side, the side that speaks to all Americans. And you know what? There's always going to be that little shrill minority that's never going to be happy with anything. But Donald Trump is reaching out to conservatives, to Republicans, to Democrats who want to work with them, and that's why he's going to get stuff done. That speech was prosecutorial in its execution. It was Reagan-esque in its vision. And he's tying all these themes together. And if you saw his speech at CPAC the week before, there's a lot of these themes that are being tied together because he is reaching out to people, and he's using the brilliance of the simpleness of why he won the campaign. And something he said at CPAC has stuck with me. He said, whether I'm nominating a judge like Judge Gorsuch or I'm trying to figure out what to do next for our country, I'm trying to follow three major themes that I know the American people want me to pursue. And that's security of the American people, freedom for the American people, and reinstituting the rule of law for the American people. And you're seeing that translating into success. You're not going to hear these things on the lamestream, left-stream liberal media. But since the election, this country has regained $3 trillion in wealth and prosperity. The market is up over 3,000 points. People are going back to work. Wages are rising. We are making America great again. But in conclusion, people love when politicians say in conclusion, right? Look at what we're up against, though. Every day, it's, I don't know, 10 to 1, 12 to 1, 30 to 1. We've got one network which tries to be fair and balanced, and that's about it. And you've got one radio station that tries to be fair and balanced. And in every major city around the country, you generally have one radio station. But look what we're up against. We're up against all the taxpayer fund, the media we pay for on the networks. We're up against all the other cable networks that don't care whether they're fair and balanced or not. They kind of wake up every day and decide if they want to be fair and balanced or not. And generally they're not. We're up against the print media, the dinosaur print media, the Post-Disgrace, and newspapers like it across the country. You know, the Washington Compost, you know, the Kansas City Red Star. I've got a name for all of them. And they feed and drive the message to the people who are not like you, who don't take the time to come to things like this, who don't stay informed, people who are very busy. I don't blame a lot of them. They're just trying to go about their jobs, put food on the table, blue collar, white collar, every collar in between. So you have to tell those people things are getting better. Things are improving. We are taking our country back. We are going to protect our borders. And as Donald Trump said, we finally have a leader who's not the leader of the global world. He is the leader of the United States of America. Thank you for all your support over the years. We got a couple key, not many, but we got a couple key races in 2018. Let's give the leadership in the U.S. Senate that supermajority they need, so we can make sure the Trump agenda is one that we're proud of, that gets instituted for our kids and grandkids. So this, once again, this country is that shining city on the hill. Thank you very much.
Well done,